NBA 2K rating recap for January 11th, 2026. We have 10 games to cycle through. Starting off in Orlando, the Magic moved to 22-18 with a 128-118 win over the Pelicans. Wendell Carter Jr. missed this game with a hip injury, so Goga Bitadze got the start. He had a big line, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. More importantly, though, Mo Wagner made his return from a torn ACL. He was out for the last 13 months or so, had 8 points in 10 minutes. Magic do have a game coming up in Germany that Franz Wagner also hopes to be back for. Desmond Bane, 27 points in this one. Anthony Black, 26, super efficient, 9 of 10 from the field. 7 assists, 3 steals as well. Paulo Banchero had 23, 8 and 8. A lot of gaudy lines for the Magic in this one, as the Pelicans don't offer a ton of resistance. Zion had 22, Murphy 21. Jordan Poole has been hot or cold depending on the night. He had 21 off the bench in this one. 6 of 8 from 3. Going over to the Memphis Grizzlies, they moved to 17-22 on the year with a 103-98 win over the Nets. Cedric Howard, 21 points, 8 rebounds. He was 5 of 10 from 3. Pat Spencer, 12 points, 13 assists. Another start with Ja Morant sidelined. It does not seem super likely that Ja Morant will ever play for the Grizzlies again. John Conchar was active for this game. He played 5 minutes. He'd been out since December 7th with a finger injury. Going over to those Brooklyn Nets, they dropped to 11-25 with this loss. They have yet to win a game without Michael Porter Jr., 0-7 without him, 11-18 with him. I'm starting to realize that maybe I should have his position at power forward rather than small forward and have Noah Clowney at small forward instead, just kind of based on the players that start when MPJ is sidelined. It's kind of similar to when he played for Denver, where Porter was the 3 on offense, but he was the 4 on defense, as Aaron Gordon was really the point of attack defender, but then he was the 4 on offense, of course. And it's kind of a similar thing here, where Porter's, both of those guys are really just shooters, but Clowney probably takes more of a point of attack, similar to Aaron Gordon type of role on the defensive end. And that's why when MPJ is out, they will typically start another big like Danny Wolf. Clowney, for what it's worth, had 17 in this game. Danny Wolf, he got the start, had 11 points, 10 rebounds. Tyrese Martin also added 17 points off the bench in this one. Going over to Toronto, they got a thrilling 116-115 victory in overtime over the 76ers. They moved to 24-16 on the year. Collin Murray-Boyles was huge in this one. 17 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Tied his career high in rebounds for the second time in 3 games. He's really excelling as the small ball center on this team. I think he's basically the next Draymond Green. I've got him up to an 80 overall, +3. Some badge changes for him. I bumped his enforcer up to silver, and then I gave him a high-flying denier. He had a couple chase down blocks in this game, has some great timing, physical player. But one of the reasons why I liken him to Draymond Green is he really moves the ball well for a guy his size. So even though currently only like a 54 pass vision rating, that's going to continue to climb, I feel, throughout the season. He makes quick decisions with the ball, so certainly maybe his pass IQ, I definitely could bump up a couple of points as well. He just handles the ball really well. And, he's not a lights-out shooter, but he can knock them down from out there. And he's pretty athletic for a guy his size, pretty fast for a 6'7" bruiser in the open court. So, yeah, I really like what he's done. Really established himself in this latest stint with Jakob Poeltl out. We'll see if Jakob Poeltl regains his starting role or not, but otherwise, some good stuff out of CMB in Toronto. Scotty Barnes, likewise, has been on a tear over the last few games. 31 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists in this one. Manuel Quickly, 20 points, 8 assists. No RJ Barrett or Brandon Ingram in this game, so Jamal Shed actually got the start at the 2, or maybe Quickly was the 2, one of the 2. I'll wait and check out the lineup data once Basketball Reference posts it, but he had a career high 22 points, also added 6 assists. Jacoby Walter got the start at the 3, but he left the game with a hip injury of his own 5 minutes, scored 2 points. So Ochai Agbaji, he got the start in the third quarter. I would expect him to continue starting if both of these guys have to miss some time. Elijah Martin was the backup shooting guard in this game, had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks, filled up the stat sheet. Let me see if I can actually boost his rating up with my old intangibles trick. You bet I can. This will probably knock him up to a 73, and at least at the very least get him in the rotation over the likes of Garrett Temple. But yeah, another player that I need to catch up ratings-wise on. There are 500 players in the NBA at any given time. Going over to the 76ers, they dropped to 21 and 16. Joel Embiid and Paul George were out for this one. So Tyrese Maxey, he led the team in scoring with 38 points in 45 minutes. BJ Edgecombe also had a big game, 17 points, likewise in 45 minutes. Kelly Oubre got the start with Paul George sidelined, and he had a more kind of a game that's more comparable to what he was doing in the starting lineup at the outset of the season. He had 13 points. Andre Drummond got the start with Embiid sidelined, as he typically does. He actually went scoreless in this game in 20 minutes. So Adem Bona played the bulk of the game, 9 points in 33 minutes, which again makes sense when the Raptors are running Collin Murray-Boyles at the 5. Adem Bona, more of an energy guy, he's going to be able to match up. Drummond's more of a bruiser, so this wasn't really the matchup for him. Bona, obviously not an offensive player, 9 points in 33 minutes of action. New York Knicks, they got a big win over the Portland Trail Blazers, moved to 25 and 14 on the year. 123 to 114. They ended the Blazers' 5-game winning streak. Josh Hart made his return. The Knicks went 3 and 5 without him, so very welcome presence back in the lineup. 18 points, 6 assists for Hart. Jalen Brunson had 26 points and 8 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, 20 and 11. OG with 24. Mikal Bridges, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Miles McBride went back to a bench role, but he still played a ton of minutes. 8 points, 35 minutes of action for him. Mitchell Robinson played 25 minutes. I think his minutes restrictions are essentially off. He's been playing consistently 20 to 25 minutes a game. He had 6 points, 11 rebounds. So that, Hart returning and McBride playing all that time meant the Knicks ran with a really short Tom Thibodeau-esque rotation. Jordan Clarkson played 13 minutes. I think Mo Diawara played 3. Tyler Kolek was a DNP coach's decision. He'd been in the rotation ever since Miles McBride went down, and then when McBride went down, or when McBride came back, that's when Josh Hart got hurt. So Kolek had a full month in the Knicks rotation, but now that both of those guys are healthy, it seems like he's back on the outside looking in. We'll see if that means anything with the trade deadline around the corner. Knicks, of course, would like to move on from Gershon Yabusele, who has not really figured into the rotation in a meaningful way, and Pacome Dadier, who they drafted and is not even, he's fallen behind other two-way guys, not even playing well in the G League. Pretty bad pick overall for them. Going over to Portland, they dropped to 19 and 21. They were scorching hot coming into this win with some big wins against playoff teams. But some really big news for them, despite the loss, is Drew Holiday made his return to game action. He came off the bench in this one, had 8 points, 4 assists, played 16 minutes. So we'll see. If he re-enters the starting lineup, I probably will readjust Denny Avdia back to like power forward, or I could end up moving Drew Holiday to shooting guard, depending on how the lineup breaks down, whether or not Sharp comes off the bench or whatever. But yeah, really awesome to see. And the Blazers, they were playing well at the start of the year until Drew Holiday went down, and then they really started to struggle. But over the last 10-15 games, they've really started to come around as they found Denny Avdia to be like their kind of mini type of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, fantastic driver who's great at getting to the rim. They didn't get the win, but solid game overall for them. Shaedon Sharpe had 23 points. Caleb Love, 21 points. He's another player who I desperately need to get the overall rating up on. I am filtering through the league in alphabetical order, so sorry if this is going to take a couple days. Worth noting, Chris Murray, he was announced out indefinitely with a lumbar strain in his back, so this essentially is going to lock CD Sissoko into his starting role. Blazers have dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the season, so even though they get Holiday back, another guy goes down, unfortunately. Minnesota, they moved to 26-14 on the year, 104-103. Huge win over the Spurs. Anthony Edwards had 23 points, including the game winner. Dante DiVincenzo added 19. Naz Reid was big again off the bench, 17 and 11. The Spurs, they dropped to 27 and 12. Wemby returned to the starting lineup, 29 points in 27 minutes. Had 3 steals but 0 blocks. Recall that he had a streak of like 80 or something games, recording consecutive block shots. So he is going to have to restart that streak once again. Given that he's playing like kind of limited minutes, I expect that there will be games where he doesn't get a block. Also, teams realize what an insane like shot blocker he is now, so they just don't attack the rim at all when he's out there. So that might also be playing a little bit of a factor in his block rate. De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, though, they got completely shut down by the Wolves in this one. 12 points for Fox, but on 6 of 19 shooting, didn't take a free throw. Steph Castle, 11 points, 2 of 11 from the field. Combined, they were 8 for 30 from the field, 0 for 7 on threes. Three-point shooting, of course, is a huge issue for Castle. Kind of waxes and wanes for Fox as well. OKC, they moved to 33-7 on the year with a 124-112 win over the Heat. SGA, his customary 29 points. Shat was also solid with 16 points, 10 rebounds. He's been in and out of the lineup, of course, which is why he's deactivated here. Jalen Williams also adding 18 points. Cason Wallace was back in the lineup as well. So I think I have to take off the forced non-starter from Cason Wallace, I think. Why is Carlson still starting? Oh, because I just have to force non-starter on Carlson since he's the only center. 2K is going to prioritize him as the starter rather than look at the overall ratings. Okay, there we go. Miami, they moved to 20-19 on the year. Powell was out for this one. So Khalil Ware, he actually did not start this game. The Heat stayed small, essentially to match up with OKC. Pele Larson, he got the start, had 16 points at small forward. Andrew Wiggins had 23, as a small ball four, matching up with Jalen Williams, not the worst in the world. Bam, not a great game against Chet, 6 points, 13 rebounds. Tyler Hero had 19. Davion Mitchell had a bounce-back game, 13 points and 10 assists after having only 1-1 in the previous one. Khalil Ware, he's not really responded well to his bench role. 8 points, once again, only 1 rebound in 16 minutes. He needs to be more of a force on that second unit. Certainly, if he's not producing at a high level on that second unit, we got to drop his overall rating. I'll give it one more game before I make any kind of decision like that, but that's just a pretty much, tank his intangibles, and he'll drop, 2 to 3 points in overall rating. Yeah. Denver Nuggets. Oops. Whoa. All right, I got to fix that. I guess I have to force non-starter or remove it from Pele Larson. That should fix that. All right. Going over to the Denver Nuggets. They moved to 26-13 with a 108-104 win over the Bucks. Aaron Gordon starting at center in this one. 23 points, 6 rebounds, 32 minutes. Deron Holmes was just not at all effective as a starter, so he actually was a DNP-CD in this one. Gordon had a huge game at the 5. Peyton Watson started next to him, had 19 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. added 19 points off the bench. Zeke Naji, back from the dead, 14 points, season high 10 rebounds, played 28 minutes, essentially filling in as the backup center in this one. I think for the moment I'll probably change his position to center. He had otherwise gotten the bulk of his minutes at the 4 next to guys like Jokic and Valanciunas. and probably should boost his intangibles up in the interim as well, at least until I get a rating in on him. And given that Dayron Holmes not in the rotation at the moment, I will actually just minimize him just to make sure that he's out of the rotation. We'll see on a game-to-game basis, if this is just a matchup thing and Holmes is starting the next game, I will revert some of that. That's why I have been editing my roster day by day. OGs, let's also get Jaden Pickett up. He has been starting with Jamal Murray sidelined as well, just to get him up to a more respectable rating. I still have a lot of work that I need to do on the Nuggets. I got up to about the Dallas Mavericks when I was filtering through my my ratings today. Actually did a little bit of work on the Nets as well. But yeah, going over to Milwaukee, they dropped to 17 and 22 with this loss. Giannis, big game for him, 31, 8, and 11. But he should probably take note of the fact that the Nuggets won again without Nikola Jokic, while his team, Giannis's team, can't seem to win a game without him. Kevin Porter Jr., 10 points, 4 of 17 from the field in this one. Ryan Rollins, 2 points, 1 of 9 from the field. Combined 12 points from that backcourt on 5 of 26 shooting, essentially why the Nuggets were able to steal this victory. Giannis, he's not going to ask for a trade, but, if he doesn't sign an extension, the writing is going to be on the wall. He doesn't have to request a trade in order to get traded, and I don't think he's going to be signing an extension with the Bucks, given the way things are going for them. Phoenix, they moved to 24 and 15 on the year with a 112-93 win over the Wizards. Balanced attack for them, 6 guys in double figures, not really much to go over. Royce O'Neal led the team in scoring with 19 points. Washington, they dropped to 10 and 28. Trae Young is not playing, so he may not even play at all this year. He may be on the Brandon Ingram plan, where he'll sit out the rest of the year and then sign an extension or a new contract during the off season. Alex Sarr led the way, 19 points, 15 rebounds for him. Trey Johnson, 19 points. Keyshawn George, 5 points, 6 turnovers, 2 for 10 from the field, 26 minutes. Probably a little bit overmatched as the lead ball handler. I'm not sure why they're not starting Bub Carrington, given that he had been starting games earlier in the year, like next to CJ McCollum and stuff, and now they desperately need an actual point guard in the lineup if they're not going to be starting Trae Young. I just don't understand. I still have to watch to see how much ball responsibility, maybe Trey Johnson's functioning as the point guard. They want to give him some reps, but I don't know. Just if you want to lean into the tank, just play Carrington, Trey Johnson, Coulibaly, George, and then stop playing Chris Middleton, because there's there's nothing he can do on the court that's actually going to raise his trade value. He's looking like he might be a buyout candidate. My bet is he'll rejoin the Bucks after the deadline and reunite with them. Both parties never really wanted to separate. Atlanta, they moved to 20 and 21 on the year with a 124-111 win over the Warriors. 6 players in double figures, once again winning in convincing fashion in the post-Trae era, really making up for lost time, given that they went 2 and 8 with Trae, or 2 and 10. CJ McCollum made his debut for the Hawks and came off the bench in this game. First time in 11 years that he came off the bench. 12 points, 4 assists in 24 minutes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he got the start. He had 24 points. And it might be more accurate to call Dyson Daniels the point guard, as he is the primary distributor on the team. 11 points, 9 assists, and obviously he's not going to be operating off the ball, given that he's a god-awful three-point shooter. So I may end up swapping his position with Nickeil Alexander-Walker's. We'll see how the lineups and rotations break down. But Jalen Johnson is still doing what he does. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Onyeka Okongwu near triple-double, 18, 12, and 8. And then Vit Krejci, just to round out the sad sack small forward position for the Hawks. Krejci, got another start, but only 1 of 4 from the field, 5 points in 21 minutes. Corey Kispert, he made his debut, but he had 2 points in 14 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field. Zachary Risache currently out with, I believe, a hip injury. Worth noting that Luke Kennard outplayed all of these guys with 22 points, 6 of 9 from 3 in 20 minutes. Although, given that they brought in C.J. McCollum, it does seem likely that Luke Kennard probably going to be used for salary matching in a trade at the deadline. Golden State, they dropped to 21 and 19. Opposite story for them. Hawks had balanced scoring. Warriors, for them, it's really been the Steph and Jimmy show. Steph 31, Butler 30, but then the only other player in double figures, which has been the case of late, was DeAnthony Melton with 10 points. Everybody else is kind of a defensive role player or just not good enough to get more than limited minutes. Sacramento Kings, they got a surprising win over the Houston Rockets, 111 to 98, moving to 9 and 30 on the season. DeMar DeRozan, 22, Zach LaVine, 18, Russell Westbrook, 15, 6 and 10. Dennis Schroeder, I got to deactivate him. He is suspended for the next, or I guess this game and then the 2 after that. He got a 3-game suspension based on actions after a December 18th game against the Lakers. He tried to fight Luka in the hallway after the game based on some comments that were made on the court where Luka trolled him for not signing that massive contract back in the day. So Schroeder took exception, and yeah, the NBA does not look kindly on if you try to fight guys after the game. Like it's okay during a competitive portion, when tempers are flaring during the game, it's okay, things happen, right? But when you're visiting the opponent's locker room after the game, like an hour later after things have happened, where it's like a premeditated decision, where you just want to be a thug and start some shit, that's essentially what Schroeder did. It's just another weird chapter in the Kings awful season. But it's worth noting that Malik Monk re-entered the rotation because of Schroeder's absence, and he had a big game, 15 points, 26 minutes off the bench. So we'll see what happens if this brings Monk back into the fold and keeps Schroeder out of it for a little bit. The trade deadline, as I've mentioned before, is coming down the pipe. We'll see what the Kings end up doing to fix their glut of guards. Houston, disappointing loss for them, obviously, losing to such a desultory team like the Kings. They dropped to 22 and 14 on the year. Alperen Sengun made his return, which is good news, but he didn't have the most efficient game. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 8 of 20 from the field. Amen Thompson led the way with 31. KD had 23. Tari Eason actually was out for this one, so Aaron Holiday got the start. He had 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting in 28 minutes. I guess he started so that they could match up with guards against the Kings, but I don't know. I probably would have just went with Josh Okogie, especially to match up with LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and whatnot. I don't know. That's just me. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't actually see if Okogie played in this one. Maybe he was also not active. They ran a pretty starter-heavy rotation. Reed Shepherd only played 14 minutes in this one. Would have liked to see a little bit more of him against the Kangs. But anyway, that was our Real 2K NBA 2K rating recap. Players of the week should be announced tomorrow, and I'm going to continue to cycle through the 2K Sports official roster update. I'm about 40% through. I am updating all of my players, all my rotation players, essentially starters and role players league-wide. I'm jumping around a little bit, but I am about a third of the way through my roster. I just did a top-down re-edit for the Mavericks. Anthony Davis is going to be out for possibly the rest of the year, so I did tweak him. A nice little breakdown on him. I do have him at a 91 overall, which is -1 from where 2K's got him at. He's only at 55 true shooting percentage on the year, which is not at all, not great for essentially a starting center on 27% usage. So his athleticism has slipped a little bit from where it was last season. His shot block rates and defensive rebound rate a little bit lower than last season as well. You know, he's starting to get up there in age, and he's a player that's always relied a lot on his athleticism rather than his skill level. So it does not seem like he's going to age particularly well, given that he just has not been able to really develop his jump shot. You know, that was part of the hope with him playing. He wanted to play more of the four this year, but in order for him to do that, he needs to be more than a 27% three-point shooter. He's got to get it up to 30, you know, the mid 30s, and it does not seem that that's super likely to happen. So he is more of a pick and roll guy, but again, with declining athleticism, we'll see. It makes it really hard to trade him. Based on the injury, it probably means that he can't be traded at all for the rest of this season. Maybe something would happen during the offseason. Although at that point, once you have AD and Kyrie back, you're probably going to at least give it a go and see what can happen next season before it probably inevitably trading him at next year's deadline along with Kyrie, selling them to the highest bidder. But yeah, that's you know, Dallas didn't play today, and I don't know when the next time we're going to be able to talk about AD is. I did want to check in with them and talk about that a little bit, as I don't know how often we're going to be really talking about Dallas over the next 2 months or so. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hit the like button if you've listened for this long, subscribe, etc. if you've listened for this long. I'll be doing these videos every day for the rest of the year. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys later tonight. Peace.